Hey, what's up there, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer55551, and I am back with a review slash thought video, a double review, another double review to be exact. Where I'm going to give my review slash thought on the first season of Netflix's Terminator Zero and Nintendo Music, this music app that Nintendo releases for your iPhone or your Android devices, though. But we'll basically start off with Netflix's Terminator Zero. For parents out there, it's worth pointing out that Netflix's Terminator Zero is rated TVMA here in the US, though. The Terminator franchise is one of the most iconic sci-fi franchises out there. A lot of folks think, Terminator 1, Terminator 2 being the best entry of the series so far, or the best sci-fi movie out there, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger playing the Terminator and everything like that. It is considered to be a classic sci-fi movie for a lot of fans out there. However, the series has also had some of its rough spots as well, though. I think after Terminator 2, there's been tried to attempt to do a third Terminator movie. Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines didn't get the best response out there, depending on who you ask. Terminator Salvation, although I thought had the right idea, just wasn't executed as well. I think Terminator Genesis or Gypsy, I'm not 100% sure, tried to sort of restart or reboot the franchise, and that didn't work, though. And then, of course, we had Terminator Dark Fate, which was basically more like the actual Terminator 3 movie. And while I definitely think it was an improvement over the last couple of Terminator movies, not counting Terminator 1 and 2, it still wasn't exactly 100% perfect, and they kind of put the series on ice. God, so who knows if we'll ever see another Terminator movie ever again or anything like that. As far as outside the movies, we've had other multimedia forms with the Terminator, from video games to TV shows. For the video games, I would say, outside of maybe Terminator 2 Judgment Day arcade game, a lot of the video games aren't as memorable out there, although I will say, for the record, I did enjoy Terminator Resistance. That one kind of surprised me. I thought that one was actually better than I originally thought when I played that game, along with RoboCop and Rogue City. But as far as a TV show goes for Terminators, the only one I could think of was one a couple years ago under the name The Sarah Connor Chronicles, and that one only ran for one season, and that one was really loved by a lot of folks there. Sadly, they only did one season for that. So it was kind of interesting to hear that Netflix was basically going to do a entry into the Terminator franchise under the name Terminator Zero, and using not only working with Skydance Media, but production IG and everything like that. So I was kind of curious to see how this one was going to play out. And after watching all 8 episodes, I will say I definitely enjoyed this series, though, or this take on Netflix. Well, I don't think it's going to overtake Terminator 1 and 2. I still think there is definitely enjoyment out of this series, though. Excuse me. So I'm going to break it down into what I like and what I didn't like, mixed, and not 100% sure, though. In terms of what I like, I definitely liked the way they went with an anime style, an approach to this and everything like that. And I'm also very happy to hear how one of the studios, I believe it's Production IG, worked on this. These are the same folks that did I believe the Ghost in the Shell series, though, one of my favorite sci-fi animes out there. So it definitely maintains some of that Production IG or Ghost in the Shell anime art style to it, and that certainly isn't by no means a bad thing. So I think that's really great that they went with this studio in terms of this kind of Netflix anime style to be exact. I also do like some of the scenes when you had the Terminator basically gets into sort of like a cop form in terms of trying to arrest some of the folks or who he's been programmed by Skynet to basically take out, to stop, the human resistance in the year 2022 and everything like that. You definitely get somewhat of a Terminator 2 vibe to it to a certain degree, though. So it certainly is nice see the Terminator go into sort of like a cop form and everything. And last but not least, I do like how this somewhat takes a different approach or a different take on the Terminator franchise. while you do not see any of like the main characters like Sarah Connor or John Connor or Kyle Reeves or anything like that, you do see some similarity as they do send someone back in time, basically to try to stop, Judgment Day from happening, though it's a different set of characters, a different setting, this time in Tokyo, Japan, 1997, to be exact. So different settings, a different approach though, so I definitely like the different take they took this time around with basically the Terminator franchise, this time with Terminator Zero and all. As far as what I didn't like or mixed or not 100% sure about, I would say anybody expecting any iconic moments that you may have seen like in Terminator 1 or 2 might be disappointed because you're not going to see that in Terminator Zero. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still think Terminator Zero is still a good show. There's definitely a lot of, action sequences and so forth, and I definitely think the story is still good and everything like that, so it's not bad or anything like that. But if you're expecting something like, the scene where Arnold Schwarzenegger, is giving the thumbs up before dropping into like this metal lava or something, or the infamous scene in the first Terminator where the Terminator is trying to grab Sarah Connor before being crushed to death or something like that. If you're expecting those kinds of iconic moments, you're probably going to be disappointed. You're not going to see that here in Terminator Zero and all. Overall, I would say I came away with Terminator Zero. I'm very pleased with what I saw though. It's not going to overtake the iconic Terminator 1 or 2 and all, but it certainly is nice to see a new entry into the Terminator franchise, even if it's done in an anime style though. At its best though, I do think, I like that the fact that the studio that did Ghost in the Shell worked on this though. I do like the fact that the Terminator went into sort of like a cop form, which is sort of like gives off a Terminator 2 vibe to it. And I do like the fact that they took somewhat of a different take to the Terminator franchise. Similar story, but a different approach to it, and I certainly don't think that's necessarily a bad thing though. But at the same time, at its worst though, you're not going to see iconic moments, at least how I see it though, of if you're thinking you're going to get the same kind of iconic moments you see in Terminator 1 or 2. That's not to say there aren't certain moments that look neat. I mean, they certainly do, and like I said, I think the action sequences are great. It's just don't expect Terminator 1 or 2 moments, iconic moments in Terminator Zero. But in either case, I came away pleased with watching Terminator Zero though. I am open to the idea if they do a season 2, to be exact, although being this is Netflix has a history of popular shows getting canceled or not getting another season. They are unfortunately notorious for doing that, to be exact. So it'll be interesting to see if Terminator Zero does get a second season, or if we get another entry in the Terminator franchise from Netflix and everything like that. So time will ultimately tell if that will happen. But still, if you like the idea of the folks who did Ghost in the Shell working on this, or a Terminator fan, give Terminator Zero a try on Netflix and everything like that. I mean, I enjoyed it though, and hopefully you guys enjoy it too. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 2, and this one is my take on Nintendo Music, the new app to download for your smartphones, and devices to basically listen to Nintendo Music. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of my double review. So for this part, I'm going to be giving my review/thought on Nintendo Music, basically the new app for you to download to your iPhone or your Android device, smart devices, to listen to basically what it is, Nintendo Music. Now, for a lot of folks, Nintendo games are very iconic for many reasons. Some like the gameplay, some like some of the world that they created and everything like that. And there are but there are also the music. And there are definitely a lot of tracks that are definitely iconic over the years that people do have fond memories about in terms of their music and everything like that. And we've seen over the years some folks post some of their music either to try to download or basically post it on YouTube to listen to and everything like that. But just like knowing Nintendo, they have a history of being, let's just say, overly protected with their IPs. Sometimes I think, as I said before, sometimes I think they're in the right, sometimes I think they go way overboard, and they have a history of going after folks who are using their songs or even their games without their permission, which is somewhat different than compared to other companies we've seen in the past where they have released some of their music on Spotify or iTunes for people to basically listen to and everything like that. So it was kind of interesting to hear when Nintendo decided they were going to do at least somewhat their own take on Spotify, to be exact, under the name of Nintendo Music, which is basically tracks from, classic Nintendo games or Nintendo games that, or any Nintendo games out there, though, that Nintendo has published, basically doing their own, as I said, their own take on Spotify. And I got a chance to download it, though. I am part of Nintendo's Switch Online. I subscribe to that. And after listening to a couple of tracks, trying the app out and everything like that, I will say I do like what Nintendo is doing, but there are certainly some caveats and clearly one that I do question Nintendo doing this, and I do kind of can see why a lot of folks can see this as being very scummy for Nintendo to do this and all. So, just like with Terminator Zero, I'm going to break it down into what I like and what I didn't like, or mix, or I'm not 100% sure. In terms of what I like, I do like the fact that there is a good selection of music that is available right now, and slowly we're seeing more and more music put in from, the Super Nintendo, the NES, Game Boy, GameCube, Nintendo DS, and even Wii as well. So it certainly is nice indeed. So there's certainly a very good selection of music, not to mention some of the, I believe you can download some of the music basically on your smart device to listen to as well. I also do like the fact that Nintendo is putting out maybe new songs into it like weekly, for now at the very least. I don't know if that will change over time or whether they choose to make some changes to that though, but I do like the fact that they are doing songs, putting out, every, weekly here and there. I think this week, as the recording of this video, they did one for Brain Test. For those who took that, those who may have used the DS, Brain Test game, to even going as far as putting like the music from the Wii Shop on there, that's interesting indeed to see that make its way over there. But there are some songs like from The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Donkey Kong Country 2, Super Mario Brothers. So there is definitely a good selection so far, and I'm glad that they're doing it weekly though, although like I said, that could change as well. And finally, at least as for now, and at least as I record this video, there are no ads to be seen in terms of Nintendo Music. Compare that to, say, something like YouTube Music, where unless you subscribe to YouTube Music, you can still use it, but you will have to listen to ads, the free version all, where here, basically there is no ads, at least for now. Again, I don't know if that will change over time. I don't know if Nintendo will be doing a free version of Nintendo Music where they will put ads into it though, so we'll have to wait and see. But for now though, it does seem to indicate that there are no ads when you listen to some of the songs in the Nintendo Music app. As far as what I didn't like, mixed, or not 100% sure about, I do think that there are some tracks or some songs that are basically missing from this app. Like, for example, Donkey Kong Country has all the songs in there except for the ones if you go to, play, the temple level, which I'm kind of wondering why isn't the temple level one in there. Even Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy Kong Quest, has, music from the Lost World, the map in the Lost World, and even the jungle music as well. So there are some tracks that are basically missing, and I'm wondering why Nintendo didn't put that in and everything like that. The next one is, and I think some have called this very scummy for Nintendo to do this, and in a way I kind of have to agree with this argument though, and that is the fact that the composers and artists who wrote some of these songs are not being credited. I mean, you could look up information about the song and what game it is, but the fact that the artists and composers are not being credited is a very idiotic move on Nintendo part. I think the folks who did work on these songs should absolutely be credited. It's like, again, going back to Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2, I think David Wise, who worked on the songs for those games, should have been credited in the app for those tracks as well. So the fact that Nintendo isn't crediting these folks, I do have to agree that is a very scummy move on Nintendo's part. I do think it's absolutely ridiculous to basically not credit some of these composers who worked on some of these songs and everything like that. And last but not least, though, and this one might not be, it may or may not be, it depends on your perspective on this, is that you will have to subscribe to Nintendo Switch Online in order to have access to Nintendo Music, though. Yeah, so while the app may be free with no ads or free to download, you do need to have a Nintendo subscription, Nintendo Switch Online account to have access to basically any of Nintendo Music song, though. So it is a little bit unfortunate, especially if you're not a fan of the idea of maybe paying Nintendo for using the Nintendo Switch Online, but if you want to have access to the music, you do have to basically pay. You do have to basically subscribe to Nintendo Switch's Online. Whether you think it's worth it or not, it's your call at the end of the day, but unfortunately that is the case with Nintendo Music and all. Overall, I would say I do like the app. It's far from perfect, but I do think there are some things about it that I do like that Nintendo did with it. But there are some areas I think I don't 100% agree with what Nintendo did with this music app and everything. At its best, though, I think the selection of music they have for it is very good. I do like how they're putting, new songs into it weekly, at least for now. And the fact that there are no ads when you switch between different songs and everything like that, at least for now, is definitely good. But at its worst, though, I do think there are some songs or tracks that are missing from this that I don't understand why Nintendo did not put them in there. I do have to agree with the criticism that it is kind of scummy that Nintendo is not putting the artists and composers who wrote these songs aren't being credited, though. And you do need to subscribe to Nintendo Switch Online to access Nintendo Music and all. So there is certainly a catch to Nintendo Music. But in either case, though, if you like the idea of listening to like classic Nintendo songs and everything like that, or Nintendo Music in general, this may not be a bad idea. And in a way, you could argue that basically this is Nintendo's answer to trying to, maybe not clamp down every single time going after these folks who dump the music either on YouTube for people to listen to or online in general. But in either case, it certainly is interesting indeed. I'm hoping to see more tracks make their way over to Nintendo Music. And I'm kind of curious if we could one day maybe see tracks from third-party games that were released on Nintendo consoles. Maybe that will happen. Maybe that won't. We'll have to see. Time will ultimately tell if that is the case. But still, I mean, if you have a Nintendo Switch Online subscription and you like the idea of listening to Nintendo's music, then consider trying out the Nintendo Music app. It's free to download and everything, so it's worth a shot if it's something that interests you in any way, in any form. Okay, this concludes my double review of both Nintendo Music and Season 1 of Netflix's Terminator Zero. And again, these are my opinion. What are yours? What are your thoughts about Netflix's Terminator Zero? Do you think it's good in any way? Do you like the fact that the studio that did Ghost in the Shell worked on this anime form and everything like that? Do you agree with it taking a somewhat of a different approach to the Terminator franchise and all? What are your thoughts about Nintendo Music and all? Do you like the idea of listening to Nintendo Music on your smartphone or devices or anything like that, though? Do you think the selection of music is good and everything like that? Do you think it's right? Do you think it was justifiable for people to criticize Nintendo, the fact that the artists and composers are not being credited for their songs in Nintendo Music? And does it bother you in any way that you need to subscribe to Nintendo Switch Online in order to access Nintendo Music? Do you agree with what I said in this video? Do you disagree? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, Sound off in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And if you do like this video, I hope you hit the like button. I would appreciate it. And I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do, make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications of any new videos I put up. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to, and feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You can do it through PayPal Me, Patreon, or Steam Labs. Links will be in the description of this video, so if you're watching this on YouTube. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that'll be soon. Until then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good day then. Bye!